Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pavel, and I'm here with Telematics. You may have heard the saying that over the sea the cup is half, but it's dear to ship it here. And I would say that to a very significant extent, that would describe the average user's experience or decision-making process of whether to buy or not to buy across the border up until about 7, 8 years ago. And of course, there were a number of reasons why this was happening. There are many, but if you come to summarize why people wouldn't buy, first of all, it will be the question of what exactly you're going to get, how the product is like, how is it going to be delivered, how is it going to be shipped, is it going to arrive okay? And if there's any problem, then what are you going to do then? How the customer service is going to be like? Will you be able to talk to the customer service and will they understand you? But now the system kind of slowly diminishes. There are many ways to overcome this. In many platforms, you will see systems, feedback systems, where just customers leave their feedback and boost the confidence of the other potential customers to buy and shop at this place. So yeah, you will know what the product is like and what the service is like. So this one is pretty much addressed. The next one will be the prohibitive cost of pricing. I'm going to have this little story about 10 years ago. I wanted to buy a Chinese mahjong game, and it was only natural to me that I would buy it in China. So I went to look for a game, and I did find the game indeed. The cost of the game itself was about $10, and then the shipment was another $64, which kind of didn't make sense. But things are changing. The logistics are improving greatly, and the prices go down. And specifically with China Mail being probably the cheapest mailing service in the world, you really find good deals, half the price across the border, and the shipping price will be included. So this one is also being pretty much addressed. And then the third one will be the time it takes for the delivery to arrive. And I think to a big extent, it's still there, it's still standing. Of course, unless you want to deliver it by some kind of express service, but then it's going to be very, very expensive. Having said that, the main reason why people buy online is price. And we've heard it time and time again. People are very, very price sensitive. And for the customer who is price sensitive and decided to buy in China because of price, they may wait for a few weeks. Of course, it takes away some of the fun and some of the spontaneity in shopping, but hey, in this case, the price doesn't matter. Now, retailers do realize this issue, and they try to address it in many ways, and it's one of the major concerns for the retailers. And one of the ways they address it is by aggressively and frequently changing the prices of their products. Now, the frequency of this change depends very much on the vertical, where exactly they're active. So, say in toys, these changes will not be so drastic. You will see the same price for the same retailer staying there for weeks or maybe even months. But there are verticals where the prices move very, very rapidly. Consumer electronics, computer components, clothing, shoes, accessories, and even things you wouldn't imagine where the price would be very dynamic. Think about car tires. The prices on these ones on many sites would move every day. And this is even before we're talking about marketplaces like Amazon or eBay, where just by nature of these, the price can change almost any minute. But in fact, it changes about half an hour, very dramatically. We did some research before the holiday season last year, and we've seen that on some of these items in these categories on Amazon, same product will be fluctuating its price between 25 to 40% on one given day. Just imagine this frequency. Now, with this complexity of prices of thousands of your products changing every day across tens of competitors, across borders, across sites, it becomes very, very hard to keep track of the pricing or making any kind of sensitive pricing strategy when this is the speed of change. And this is exactly where price intelligence systems and platforms are coming to play. So what these things let you do, first and foremost, is articulate and execute a consistent pricing strategy on your product. And consistent, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean the cheapest. but it does mean consistently. If you want to remain at a certain level of difference with your other competitors, you would be able to do it. If you don't do it, your competition moves. It moves very fast. And because of this nasty habit of consumers to compare prices all the time, chances are your consumers are going to know that you opened a gap in your pricing way before you as a retailer know there is a gap. Now, this kind of system also enables the retailers to capitalize on some of the opportunities that arise. Imagine this: your competition just ran out of stock on a certain item. That's a perfect opportunity to drive the price up and make up for some of this margin that was lost, perhaps due to the price slashing. But these opportunities are usually very short-living. So if this happens for 1, 2, or 3 days, if you don't have a system which can help you monitor your prices versus competition, you wouldn't even know this happened. Now, needless to say that this can help improve the conversion. It can make the marketing people much smarter in their choice of keywords that they acquire online. They would know through this system where exactly at the product life cycle they are right now, what prices go up and what goes down, especially versus the dynamic of sales. And that will make them much more educated on what keywords they should buy. Eventually, this is one of the best tools to equip the salespeople on the floor with to address showrooming. At the end of the day, if the salesperson on the floor knows what is the price that goes around, he can come up with an attractive proposal to a customer. Again, it doesn't have to be the cheapest, but it could be an interesting bundle. Of course, if he doesn't know what's going on around, it wouldn't be done. It's especially important for any business which provides the lowest price guarantee. So, if you are online or offline retailer and you carry more than just a few hundreds of SKUs, especially if these products are not uniquely branded to you and your competition sells the same products as you do, and especially if you are positioned in one of the verticals where shopping comparison is more prominent, electronics, cosmetics, accessories, you definitely must consider implementing this system in place. Conceptually, this system consists of 3 major blocks. The first block, this one, would be where the input that you provide, or basically the list of all of your SKUs, is getting mapped across different sites, and all these matches are created and set up in the system. Then it moves to the next block, which would be this one, where automated systems run and collect this information on a periodic basis from all the competitors. It all gets stored in the database, and then all the necessary triggers, alerts, or perhaps if this is integrated with your e-commerce platforms, it also executes the changes of your prices. Everything is executed there. And eventually, it comes down to the UI, where you can see the prices in a visual format of charts, or you can just export this data to use later with your business intelligence systems. So hopefully at this point of time, I kind of made my point and convinced you that if you don't have a system like this right now, you should consider one. And here there are a number of points to think about when you select a system. In any kind of price intelligence system, quality of data will be paramount. And when I talk about quality of data, I mean 2 basic parameters. One is the precision. You basically want to make sure that your products, your SKUs, are mapped correctly to your competition, apples to apples. I mean, you can only imagine if this is wrong and you make your decision based on it. But then the next very important parameter, which is usually less considered, is the coverage. Consider that you have a list of 1,000 SKUs you want to monitor. You gave it to your vendor and they became mapped, and 300 of them got mapped precisely. Sounds like a good deal. But then think about this. If 300 more could have been mapped, but they didn't get mapped, you get coverage only about half of what you could. And that's the coverage. So this would be very, very important. Of course, this is one of the reasons why we are here. You want to make sure that your solution provides you with an ability to monitor prices and information cross borders, cross locations, cross currencies, cross languages, and provides all this information, especially regarding the price, converted hopefully to your local currency by exchange rate of today. So again, you could measure apples to apples. Now, so far until this point, I've been talking about prices and prices all the time, but this is not just about pricing. It's about the rest of the information as well. It's about the shipping charges, it's about the promotions, and any other relevant information which could be there on competitors' sites that you need to have in order to make educated decisions. Yet again, I'm touching the point of quality, and this is really, really important. Quality control on this kind of a system needs to be executed from day one when the system is set up, but it also has to be done throughout the whole duration of time. Yes, at the setup, very important, but if it's not done during the whole process, by nature of e-commerce sites, they change, they morph, and then the data is either not brought in or incorrect, and you don't want to be in a situation when you're using incorrect data. So this kind of quality control is very, very important during all the stages of execution and usage. When you consider a system, make sure that it is flexible enough in order for you to bring any potential competitors you would like to have. Not only the common platforms. Yes, of course, everybody wants to know what's going on Amazon compared to them and eBay, but each one of you has their own specific competitors that go and come, and as they come up, you want to be able to integrate them as well. So ensure that the system you choose can do this for you. Again, scalability is a very good question. For one retailer, monitoring 1,000 products or SKUs will be sufficient. For another one, it will be hundreds of thousands or millions. Same goes about frequency. If you're dealing with toys, then you probably wouldn't need it more than once a week. But in electronics, you will have to have it once a day at least. And again, it also depends on the season. Probably you want to do more during the holiday season. And the last point that I want to bring across, and it is very important, make sure that people that stand behind the solution understand content. It's very, very important. Content which is related to products can be quite complicated. It requires experience and knowledge to understand the difference between two different laptops or pairs of shoes or some other products. It also takes experience to understand various taxonomies and how products are mapped exactly. Your solution will be as good as the people that stand behind the solution. Thank you very much.
This one on? Oh, great. Has anyone got any questions? Pavel?
Yeah.
Hi, it's Elisabetta. I find...
A bit of exercise in the day.
Hi, it's better. I find the concept of dynamic pricing very, very interesting, especially in fashion, right?
Yeah.
Because all retailers know what's selling, what's not selling, but many times, even if you're not monitoring your competitors, just pushing stuff that is obviously not moving, or the other way around actually, increasing prices of items that you know you cannot order more of, but people want. Have you seen any dynamic prices with any fashion retailers at all?
So we did not monitor fashion specifically, but we did monitor fashion as part of a few platforms. And I think the answer is yes, there is dynamic pricing. There is dynamic pricing everywhere, and even if you don't do it explicitly on Amazon, you would see a number of companies that do just that. And they do it with one very specific goal. On Amazon, you want to occupy the buy box. If you are in the buy box, you're good. If you're out of the buy box, and for this, the price would move.
Great, thank you. I think that's probably all we've got. Oh, turn it off. Right, thank you. That's probably all we've got time for.
Thank you very much, guys. We will be out there if you want to ask more questions. Happy to answer them. Thank you.